Welcome everybody to Tabletop Trainwreck.
Blessings of Lud upon you.
This is Liam,
This is Bill.
and today we're going to be talking about two board games. Well, one I guess is like a card game.
They're board games. Who gives a shit?
They're still board games? I guess they're both kind of card games.
Yeah.
But one is Not Alone, and the other is Godsforge.
Yeah. Godsforge is a wizard game. Everyone's a wizard, and you're trying to cast spells and make shit and beat the fuck out of the other wizards.
It's a fun time.
Whereas Not Alone is a kind of sci-fi game where one person's an alien and the other players, everyone else, are the survivors, and they have to not get killed by the alien, and the alien has to kill them.
It's a real fun time.
I really like Not Alone, but
It's stressful on both ends of the time.
no, you're just fucking a bitch because you got smoked like a bitch the first time you played the alien.
Well, first off, I was playing wrong. Alright? It's not my fault.
A bitch.
It's not my fault. But which one do we want to... I mean, I guess we're already on Not Alone. So we'll start with Not Alone.
Okay.
So Not Alone, as Will was just... Not Alone, as Will was just describing earlier. We're starting off great.
I am out of my mind right now.
But Not Alone, one person plays an alien, the other people play survivors. There's a lot of words. And
we're not inebriated right now. This is just like average post-work day nonsense. Except you haven't worked at all today. So
well, I haven't worked today, but I went on an 9 or 10 mile
fucking
hike.
humble brag, asshole. Oh, I just went on a long hike.
Up in the Hampshire.
Actually, neck yourself. No, I don't tolerate New Hampshire on this podcast. But fucking Not Alone.
So, Not Alone, one person's the fucking alien. Everybody else is a survivor. I think you can have up to, I want to say, 6 or 8 players. You can have a fairly large group.
And right off the bat, that's something I really like about Not Alone is the game is changes. There are different rules depending on how many players you have. So you can kind of have a good time at any level. Because although a lot of games have variable numbers of players, frequently they're not optimized towards the higher or lower ends of the spectrum. But with Not Alone, you can kind of change shit up, which is cool. But the main way you play the game is there are 10 different kinds of location cards, and there's also a deck of survivor cards and a deck of alien fuck you cards.
Thank you. That is so lovely. Thank you.
Alright, what the fuck was I saying? Okay, so the way you play the game is there's location cards, there's alien fuck yourself cards, I forget what they're called, and then there's survivor perk cards. The alien has a hand of I think 4 fuck yourself cards.
3 fuck yourself cards.
3 fuck yourself cards, and he and or she can play 1 each turn. The survivors have access... I'm sorry. So there are 10 different kinds of location cards. The survivors have numbers 1 through 5 in their hand. So they're numbered 1 through 10. And each turn, the survivors select a card from their hand and play it. They put it down face down first, and they can communicate with the other survivors as to what they're doing. Once they've placed all their shit face down, the alien then picks a location to kind of haunt or track people down in.
Yeah.
And if he and or she finds a survivor there, because generally, I'm sorry, if he and or she finds a survivor there, the effect of that location doesn't go off, and the survivor loses a willpower point, which is kind of like your health.
Yeah. And the ticker goes up 1.
Yeah. So that's kind of the goal of the game, is there's a tracker for both the aliens and the survivors. Once either one reaches the center, that side wins. The survivors move it up by 1 each turn, and then they can also do shit to move it up further. One of the locations, the beach, someone can put a marker there. On 1 turn if they play the beach card, and then if someone else plays the beach card after there's a marker on the beach, then the survivors move up a slot. But the further you move up the board, the more shit gets fucked. The alien gets more advantages as people near the end. I think at a certain point the alien can start like haunting 2 places a turn.
Yeah.
But yeah. So survivors have to like pick and choose carefully where they're going. You only have those 5 cards to start with. When you play it, it goes in your discard pile. So the alien always has a rough idea of what you have in your hand and what you are able to play. There are cards that get it back. You stuff from your graveyard. Not your graveyard, whatever the fuck. Discard.
Discard pile.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? There's stuff that gets the cards back from there, but there's also... you can also lose health, lose willpower, and get cards back into your hand. If you lose all of your willpower, your character quote-unquote dies. You lose all of your location cards that weren't part of your original 5, and the alien moves up a slot on the board. And so I keep mentioning the original 5 locations. There are 10 in total. One of the original 5 is the rover. If you go to the rover, you can take one of the additional cards on the bottom row. And all the, like, the bottom row ones, 6 through 10, are all like very powerful and do funky shit. So that's why keeping control of the rover early on is very important for the alien, because if the survivors, because again, once you get one of those like higher tier locations in your hand, you have that permanently basically, because even though it goes into your discard after, you can get it back with other effects. So the alien, it creates a situation where if the alien doesn't like keep an eye on it early, it can kind of quickly get out of control.
The fucking rover. To any of you aspiring aliens out there, just camp the fucking rover as best you can.
The rover is a righteous vehicle.
So the rover is what allows them to get the extra 5, of the extra 5. And when I first played the alien, Henry and when I first played the game, Henry said you can only use it once, and when you do, like, you can only use one of the other 5 once, and once you do, it goes back into the pile, and you don't get it back. Henry told me that rule, and then suddenly,
like a bitch,
I was playing under the assumption of a lot of wrong rules. So, good PSA. Read the fucking rules.
Better PSA. Get good. Learn the game.
I'm gonna kill you,
pussy boy, bitch.
I will kill you today.
Puss.
There is nothing but death in your future. You're just off it today. So let's talk about the funds.
This is going to be the worst episode we've ever made.
Well, no, according to our viewer count, the worst episode was getting into Warhammer. That is thus far.
But did we put that on Reddit?
That one we did not put on Reddit.
There we go.
Probably.
Although this most recent Midnight Ramblers, I don't think did very well either, because the People's Republic of Reddit decided to suppress our fucking voice.
We're gonna hold off on another Reddit tirade.
No, I can't help myself because it's so fucking irritating when you put it on Reddit and you get an email later like, "Oh, due to your low karma, we're gonna investigate this post further to make sure it's legitimate." And it's like, you just click on the link. If you just click on the link and see that it exists, it's a podcast. What is there to check? What the fuck? Okay, listen. I get that like you're terrified of spam because that's the worst thing in the world. But, like, we put up one link a week. That's not spam. One link a week. Each one is a different episode, and we link the episode. So what's the fucking issue? And we're putting it on a fucking thread dedicated to sharing a podcast. So why are you summoning the fucking KGB to do a detailed investigation of our post to make sure, God forbid, that there's no shit posting involved? I fucking hate Reddit. Holy shit, I hate that it's the only way I know of to get the fucking podcast out there. I wish I knew of a better one. To all 2 of you who are listening, by which I mean me, Kay, and Ryan. I almost said the other part.
And Nigel.
If you're one of those 4 people, tell me how the fuck to get this podcast noticed outside of goddamn Reddit. Oh, I hate Reddit. Oh, and this is another reminder, because I'm fucking off my rocker right now. Another reminder. I don't hate Reddit because I like 4chan or whatever. I don't really like 4chan either. 4chan pisses me off in a different way. But 4chan doesn't suppress me like this, okay? It doesn't fucking put a gun to my head and say, please sing praises to your fucking overlord. I don't know who made Reddit. Jeff Bezos. Sing praises to your overlord and pray that maybe he'll let you post a fucking thing on the fucking podcasting Reddit.
You good?
Yeah. Fucking aliens.
So, should we talk about our fun times during the alien times?
You mean when you lost like a butch?
You don't have to put it like that. But, so we kind of alluded to it earlier. But when Will first played, I was the alien.
Yeah.
And I played wrong.
Admittedly, we only played like 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of a thing, is like, this is very much a first impression for both of these games, for me, at least. Liam might have played Godsforge a bit more, but I've only played that game like once, and I've only played the Alien game like twice. So, you know, I'm gonna miss a lot of the intricacies and details, but like, you know,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of Not Alone?
That was a really fun game, honestly. I kind of like those kind of cooperative games.
Yeah. Like Whitechapel?
I don't really like Whitechapel, actually, but
fuck you.
I just this might be a hot take, since it's kind of like a meme in the quote unquote nerd community.
Is it?
I do not give a fuck about Victorian England.
Oh, I see. I think you're going with that angle.
Christ. Like, it's literally all of Victorian England is like, it's Industrial Revolution times, and everyone is sick and dying, and prostitutes are now mangled and dead. Like, what's fun about that? It's like, no. I don't like it.
I get what you mean.
Also, Jack the Ripper, people are like, oh, Jack the Ripper, most notorious serial killer. Nah, bitch. He ain't no Bundy. He ain't no Charles Manson, okay? Don't give me that bull fucking shit about Jack the fucking Ripper. Who gives a shit about Jack the Ripper? He killed like 4 people. No one, who gives a fuck? No, it's just because like England's like, oh, we're the most important country in the world, even though no one gives a fuck about them anymore.
You know why Jack is so like legendary? It's because no one knows who he is. It's just like who is that plane jacker?
D.B. Cooper?
Yeah, like nobody knows who he is. So like he's super famous. But if you think about it, all he did was just jump out of a plane with some money.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
but was he American?
He was American.
So that makes him better. Fuck Jack the Ripper. I hate the fucking Victorian England, because inevitably there's always like the Cockney accent. It's like, oh, you walk them.
you walk, boy?
Yeah, it's fucking awful. I hate it. God damn. England is just a dumb place.
I like England.
I don't like England. I like basically every part of the world that was owned by England is way cooler than England.
Debatable?
Like, actually not.
Will, do you want to make a trade agreement with England?
Would you be interested in a trade agreement with England? No, I'm not. You know why? Because I believe it's Elizabeth I in Civ 5. She sucks.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth I.
She's a dick. She's like, oh, fucking, I don't know. She's just very aggressive and mean to me every time. And I don't like it. You know who's like weirdly the best fucking magic homie in Civilization 5? Is Genghis Khan.
Dude, when I first played Civ, Genghis Khan was my boy.
Yeah.
It is now Oda Nobunaga, but...
Are you kidding me? Oda's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
Like, I'm always the one playing him because I'm weeb trash.
Oh, I thought you meant like he's a nice boy.
Oh, no,
he's not. He's awful.
No. He attacks you every time.
He's very mean.
I don't like playing against him.
See, I appreciate him because he's not like the fucking Ottomans, where like the Ottomans are like, hey buddy, and you'll see like it's friendly, and you just met the guy, and you're like, you have no reason to be my friend. You're gonna attack me. I know what you're up to, you stupid, you fuck. But like Oda, just you meet him, and it's like hostile, and you're like, okay, that adds up. Hello, Japan.
It's kind of like Gandhi just backstabbing you all the damn time.
Well, Gandhi's different because he's like very nice until he gets the atomic bomb, and then
and then he's like, guess what,
yeah,
bitches?
then the fun abruptly ends.
All right, we got way fucking off track.
There's gonna be a lot of that. I can't maintain focus right now.
You can't keep it together right now. I mean, it's
but-
probably after all that PBR the other night.
That was like 2 nights ago. There's like no excuse. Aside from me having to wake up in the wee hours of the morning to go to my job that I'm leaving tomorrow. Speaking of, I'm probably going to leave halfway through tomorrow. And
Dude, just don't go tomorrow.
I need to show up so that the people who I actually care about see that I was there. But the person who's on with me in the afternoon is a complete fucking dick named Dan. And I don't mean Dan as in the Dan we've mentioned earlier on the podcast who's our boy. I mean a different Dan who's this old fucking crusty boomer shit. I fucking hate that guy. And so I'm going to fuck him over tomorrow and leave him with all the work to do because I don't want to deal with him for 8 hours.
You know what? Fair.
Yeah.
When I quit my previous job at THD, I put in my 2 weeks and they were like, "Oh, you don't have to leave." And I was like, "Yeah, but I got to leave. You got to help out my dad." And then they were like, "Well, we'll just put you on leave." And I was like, no, you don't have to do that because I don't know if I'll be coming back. And they're like, "We can put you on leave for over a year. Like, you're fine. We'll put you on leave just so you can come back." And like, it literally the next day, I was scheduled and I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just not going in. I was scheduled for like 3 weeks and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Not gonna fucking happen. And Ray, when Ray still worked at THD as well, because Ray worked a little after me, one of my managers was like, "Hey, have you seen Liam? He was scheduled for today." And Ray was like, No, I haven't." And this is like 2 weeks after. I was like, fuck, I'm done with it. Washing my hands of that.
Yeah.
If anybody from THD listens to this podcast, you don't. But if you do, I liked you guys. Don't get me wrong.
No, you didn't. You bitched about that job every single day.
No. Hold on, let me put it this way. I really liked my coworkers.
Okay.
I thought my assistant managers were pretty nice. One of them, I won't mention names, but one of them was really nice. Another she was nice, but constantly putting like way too much shit like on me. Like she would be like,
please.
She would be like, "Hey, you need to clear 5 carts in your aisles as well as get your returns, but don't bring another return back until you've cleared those 5 carts. But you need to clear your returns. And then after you clear your returns, I need you to sweep, vacuum, dust, wipe down the floorboards, wash the poop deck." Like, just tons of shit.
Yeah.
And I would be like, it would come to like the dead end of the night. I am the last guy on in fucking hardware. And I'm just like, I can clean up this aisle, but no. It's like, I can stay for an extra 15 minutes, but I get out in 10 minutes, meaning I'd have to be there for another 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I liked my coworkers. Oh, and then I don't hate my store manager. She was awesome. She did a ton for us. And don't get me wrong. But do managers do anything?
Not in my experience, but,
Fun fact. THD store managers make $100+ a year.
Dude, that's fucking...
And I'm like, what do they do?
Just jerk one out in the office.
That's what it seems like. They just don't do anything.
Yeah, the place I worked before, Steinmart, which was a long time ago. But, like, I think there were more managers than non-managers there. The store was fucking terrible. But, like, the actual giant rat that makes all the rules, the big manager, was like... She came in maybe 6 hours a week, and she was always trashed. So, like...
I mean, honestly, just go for it at that point. Who's gonna tattle? Like,
yeah. I mean... And then they were like wondering, like, oh, why are we going out of business? Maybe we should have the fucking peons reorganize the food shelf. And it's like, I promise you, no one comes to Steinmart for the luxury snacks.
Also, like, your location was way in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
It was like completely hidden. There wasn't even a fucking sign, so no one knew to go there except like the few old ladies who have been going there for years. So...
Dude, I see ads for Steinmart still.
I do, yeah. And I just want to tell people that there's a better way. Go to Amazon. Like, people are always like, oh, Amazon's like ruining business and it's like becoming a Shadowrun ass megacorp. And like, it is. But for one, I'm down for Shadowrun times. For two, sometimes it's bad, but in the case of shit like Steinmart, it's necessary to kill the greater evil. So Jeff Bezos, you keep doing you.
Here's my thing about... This is turning into a fucking Midnight Ramblers.
It's fun.
But here's my thing about, like, retail stores. Like, specifically ones like Steinmart. Everything Steinmart has, you can get at something like TJ Maxx or Home Goods or Kohl's or something.
Yeah.
Probably for a lower price.
See, that's the thing, is like everything was kind of always on sale at Steinmart, but like that's also... I'm going to let you in on a little trade secret.
Ooh, industry secrets?
Yeah. Clothing costs fucking nothing to make. So when you see like these brand names like FUBU and shit going for like hundreds of dollars like they sometimes do, it costs them maybe like $1 worth of fabric and labor.
To quote...
In China. It's nonsense.
To quote Macklemore, that's $50 for a t-shirt. Do some simple edition, or limited edition. Let's do some simple edition. $50 for a t-shirt? That's just some ignorant bitch. That's right.
Fantastic.
That's right. I remember those lines from Thrift Shop.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, I've never understood the need that some people have to buy designer clothing. Like,
dude, you ain't part of the Gucci gang?
I'm not, because I am a male. And I have standards for myself. Isn't Gucci like purses?
Nah, Gucci is clothing. They got like shirts and shit.
Oh, whatever.
My cousin buys a lot of Gucci. He's one of those people who's very into like designer things.
But that's the thing, is like, unless you're getting a fucking nice ass European suit to wear to like a fucking ball, or like you're a high-end executive or a lawyer and you need one of those like flashy suits to show your massive money peen to everybody, like, what the fuck cares? Like, I've seen like those quote-unquote design, like, I'm gonna bring up FUBU because that's the brand I know. Like, I see those shirts and I'm like, that's just, I can get one that looks exactly like that at Target for like an eighth of the price.
That's my thing. Like,
it's like, what are you doing?
The most, I think, expensive like things I own are my tuxedo.
Yeah.
But even then, I got my entire tuxedo for less than $120.
Yeah.
I'm talking vest, shirt, jacket, pants, cufflinks, and suspenders.
Yeah, and like, again, unless you're one of those fucking high executive types, no one gives a fuck what your suit is made of. Like,
yeah.
As long as it fits you and it doesn't look like it came from a goddamn sewer, like, it's fine.
Although if there's one thing that American Psycho has taught us, it's that it's your business card is the most important thing.
That is vitally important. Don't you fuck around with business cards. Alright, let's talk about Nautilus.
Sorry to ramble on.
It happens. So I think we were talking about what I liked about the game.
Yeah.
I like the cooperative aspects of it. I thought, because it was like, it was kind of interesting having to like try to cooperate with everyone, but also keep it hidden from the alien. Because like you can say whatever the fuck you want, but the alien can also hear you. So
Yeah.
you gotta be sneaky.
Like what one thing you guys did and then we did to Henry was that you just constantly throw place names out there.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh yeah, I'm going to the Rover. Like, it didn't matter if you were going there or not. You just throw every place out there.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess you could say like, oh, you should just text each other, and that makes it easy. I'm like, yes,
that's no fun.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Because like, part of the game is the idea that you kind of have to like keep it hidden around the alien while being immediately in front of the alien.
Yeah.
And texting totally takes away any sort of possible way for the alien to like kind of like try to understand what's going on.
I mean, I don't think so. I think like when you're playing as the aliens, like a lot of deductive reasoning, like where this is what they've played. Because again, the alien, you can't hide what you've played from the alien. Like they know. So if the alien knows, like, okay, they've played the hive, or I'm sorry, is it the hive?
The lair.
The lair. He's played the lair and the rover, so he can only go to the forest, the beach, or the river. And chances are he's going to go to the forest because he needs to get those cards back because the rover is so important.
You kidding me? I'd go to the beach and then hit up the forest.
Okay, well, that's a gamble, Liam. I'm just giving you a fucking example.
Well, I like to live dangerously.
Whatever, nerd. God damn.
I will say, though, Henry mopped the fucking floor with us when he was the alien.
Yeah. The aliens get some nonsense powers.
See, and, like, I'm pissed because, like, I had good powers, but I thought I could only use them once we hit, like, the atrium thing.
Like a bitch.
Listen up, bitch buoy. I will fucking dab on you.
There's not enough room in this room for me to dab, but...
Are you ready for this?
Okay, well, you're in a more easily dabbable location. I have all these things near me that can be hit and whacked, and I am not in my home, so I fear whacking them.
You just gotta get good.
Want to do this? We're gonna do this?
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
Alright, fucking fuck boy, let's go. You and
Y'all about to hear the first fight. October 13th, 2015, 9 a.m.
Oh, speaking of, kind of channel announcement midway through the video. We're going to have some funky shit planned for October. It's going to be some Halloween-themed games. Just a spoiler, we're going to finally talk about White Wolf Publishing. We're going to do the full dissertation on that, so that should be a gas. And then the last week of October is going to be something too horrifying to talk about. So.
Oh, God. I'm spooked. 100%.
Genuine fear.
Genuine fear.
Yeah.
One might even say genuine fear.
Genuine?
Genuine.
The Dwayne. Anyway,
Not Alone.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I really got to say about it. It's a pretty basic game. It's a nice little game. It's pretty cheap too. It's like $30.
Is it 30? I thought it was cheaper than that. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Whatever. It's inexpensive. They did come out with an expansion.
Ooh, they did.
And reading the reviews from that, like, I guess a lot of people thought that the alien had it way too easy in the base game, and this kind of makes it a little tougher. So, you know, maybe I just have to play a few more rounds of the game to see like exactly how the balance shakes out. But you know,
I mean, I guess with our game, like I said, I had a difficult time just because
you're bad.
Well, kinda, yeah. Like just because I didn't know how to play, and Henry, when I first played, taught me wrong. Fuck you, Henry.
Yeah, Henry, you have an official admonishment from Tabletop Trainwreck.
That is
Dishonor
one demerit.
Yeah.
Not Alone is $20 at Target.
Jeez.
Yeah, not that bad.
Yeah. So yeah, very cheap game, and
yeah,
it's a good way to kill an evening. Did we play that game pre or post Donkey Balls?
Pre
Donkey Balls. Okay.
Pre Donkey Balls, but post beers.
Yeah, that's not really much of anything.
Donkey balls.
Did we talk about donkey balls on the podcast?
I think we'll have to save that for a Midnight Ramblers.
There's not a whole lot to tell about donkey balls, but
It was the
I don't want to be one of those like people that like talks about drugs all the fucking time.
Yeah, fair.
Because that's just annoying. But it was completely legal. It's marijuana. Like, we're allowed to do it here in the People's Republic of Massachusetts. It's fine. Call all the DEAs you want. Suck my ass.
There are people in other states on other podcasts who definitely admit to smoking illegal substances. So I think we're okay.
Whatever.
No one's going to care about two fat guys in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Let's just move on to Godsforge before I finish having my stroke.
So Godsforge is actually a game. So Ray and I were wandering around our local mall with Henry, and we went into a game store there, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this wicked pretty box, and I'm like, what's this box? It looks so cool, so pretty. I pick it up. It's Godsforge. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And boom, it's this card game. And I turn to Henry, because he was with us, and I just go, hey, Henry, if I buy this, you want to play it when we get home? And he's like, fuck it, sure. Well, it's fine. It's great. And we played it, and I really like it. I thought it was wicked fun. It's kind of your basic card game, I guess you could say.
Well, not at all, because it's completely different from every card game. But
I guess it's not really your basic. It has life and cards.
Yeah.
That's your basic card game right there.
Yeah. So the way it works is there's like one big deck in the center, and everyone draws cards from that deck. Basically, the goal of the game is to be the last player standing, or because all like damage and shit happens simultaneously for all players. So in the event that everyone dies, you have to be the person that died the least.
Which is very fun.
Yeah, you have to keep track of negative life totals. And the one game I played, like, it came down to like me nuking Dan for like 80 damage, and him nuking me for 50.
It was a good time.
Yeah. But the way it works is you put down your creations or you play spells, and the way you do that is you have to roll dice. You have like 4 or 5 dice, and then you can
get 4 dice.
Yeah, you have 4, then you can get a 5th one later with a certain artifact. And you're trying to put down shit, and to do that you have to like roll certain combinations of dice. And there are these things called, what is it? Amber stones, fuck stones.
It's not amber.
These like magic crystals that
Yeah.
if you roll a 6, you can turn a 6 into a magic crystal. And then there are other things that give you crystals, and you use those to either add or subtract one from the die roll. Also, if you roll a 1, that is if you roll a 1, you can count that as any number. So basically, you're trying to roll different combinations of dice and get the combinations you need to play cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one big thing I really liked about it was that everything happens simultaneously.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets rid of the whole question of the stack, because it's just like, oh, there's no such thing as counter spells. It just happens. Everything happens. And that's why you can get into those situations where everybody just dies.
Yeah.
And so like kind of the basic way the game is played. Actually, you just described the basic way the game is played.
Yeah. No, you keep going.
I really like it personally, just because, kind of like Will said, it's not quite like anything. I know before I said it's your basic card game, but thinking about it now, it's not really. And I really like it personally because it's so different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the way you like summon creations, you can only play one card at a time. Like you really have to think out your moves. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, I'm gonna slap this huge spell down, but then other times it's like, oh man, I have these 3 other people here who are also in a way trying to kill me, so how do I keep myself alive while also worrying about the next threat?
Yeah. I had a few kind of issues with it. I mean, I did enjoy the game I played, but you kind of touched on it earlier, where there's like no counter spells and no stack or whatever, and that just generally is annoying when like all of your reactivity is like retroactive, not like something you can. I don't know, because that's the thing is like there are kill spells and shit, but they always happen after everything else happens, which is irritating.
See, I kind of like that though.
I don't,
because like the reason I like that is because I've alluded to him before on the podcast, but an asshole I knew freshman year, he played a lot of like control in Magic, and it just wasn't fun. So I've come to have a supreme hatred for control.
I don't know. You need control elements. Like that is kind of a thing with Godsforge. Is like we got to a point where everyone's just going off with all these crazy fucking things that were happening, and like I don't know. It's kind of fun the first couple times when it's like, oh wow, how crazy! Look how much shit there is. But like after a while, it's just like, ugh, have to count up everything because eventually you will get to that one turn where you're nuking each other for like 80 damage.
Yeah.
And you have to like calculate everything. How much defense do they have? How much damage am I doing? How much can I add to it? This, that. Who died the least? Like,
I'd say it's probably a game then. If we're going by
too many numbers, I think that's what it boils down to. Is too much numbers. I don't like numbers.
I think if we're going by like Magic's like personality types, it's very much a which one is like, is it Johnny?
I don't know. I always found that whole fucking thing stupid.
I don't know. I like it.
No, because it's just like annoying people on Reddit. Like, oh, I'm such a Timmy. I'm such a Spike. I'm a Vorthos. I hate Vorthos. I don't know what the fuck that name is from. I don't know what that means.
It's like you like flavor.
I know what it is, but I'm saying like, where the fuck does the name come from? Like, why can't you just be like fucking Theodore? Theodore sounds like a scholarly name that would be interested in the
lore. Ask Mark.
I don't want to.
Why not?
It's a fucking talk to people. Whereas this way I can just bitch from afar.
If he ever wanted to come on our show, would you let him?
Yeah, sure. No, I know I'm fucking being a real douchebag right now, but like Mark Rosewater is a pretty cool guy, and I would like him on the podcast. He'll never come because I just said all this. Like,
no, you know why? Like that's like the calling for him to come.
Yeah, Mark Rosewater, please give our podcast fame we don't deserve.
When I still use Tumblr,
Ugh.
I was actually semi-Tumblr famous in the Magic community in Tumblr. And Mark Rosewater one time answered one of my questions.
You demand.
Dude, that was like, I know I'm getting married next year, but that was like the highest point in my life.
Nice.
Mark Rosewater, you're one of my heroes. So like,
yeah, he's a good boy. Also, I don't think he made the name Vorthos, so it's technically not his fault. I think it's a Magic community thing.
Oh.
I just hate communities. Communities irritate me. You know why?
Why?
Because they have commune in them. Stand up for freedom, boys and gals.
What else don't you like about Godsforge? Or what do you like about Godsforge? Either one.
I mean, most of my likes boil down to like the mechanics were pretty unique and cool, and I did like that. One thing I wasn't in love with was the visual style, because it kind of had this like kind of funky abstract thing, but it was also kind of anime sometimes, and like it didn't mesh well.
I get what you mean. It was something that was very like, it wanted to be a lot of things.
Yeah, because like some cards would have like arcane runes on them, and then other cards would have like this anime fighter man with a rocket cannon. Like, what is this?
Yeah, because like for those who haven't played, the cards are divided between creations and spells, and spells have these really cool looking like geometric shapes that like Will said were like arcane runes, and it's really cool looking at them. And then others, which are the creations, all have like graphics on them, so there's like actual characters.
Yeah, and some of them are like dragons or whatever, and like those look kind of fine because they try to make it the same art style, but again, then you get like the weird anime-esque things, and it looks kind of bad.
I would say fans of Mike Mignola's artwork, he's the creator of Hellboy, who really like kind of that ink-heavy style.
Yeah,
they would appreciate the art, but I definitely understand your criticisms where it's like,
if they just stuck to one thing or the other, it'd be fine. But the fact that they tried to mesh them together just didn't really work out for some of the art.
Yeah. Like there's one card, Aegis of something, and it's just like, looks like this really cool like shield, and it's wielded by what looks like a hoplite, and like he's just like charging, it kind of looks like into some sort of battle, and then you get that weird anime guy, and it's just like, it's like, why are these connected?
Exactly. And then another kind of smaller gripe is like, it's kind of easy to get combinations of cards that just let you snowball so far out of control that like people kind of can't keep up. And the way the game is, like, you can't really form coalitions against the person that's winning, because like the way it works is like player A targets player B, who targets player C, who targets player A. It like goes in a circle.
Yeah.
So say player A is snowballing out of control, and they have like all these really powerful relics or creations that like that gives them more dice and more fought credits and lets them get bigger creations that people can't deal with. There's no way for players B and C to both attack player A, because only player C can attack player A. So player A only ever has to worry about like one person at a time. And while there are like some spells that can kind of break that and hit everybody, like again, that hits everybody. It doesn't just punish player A.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of why, like, I don't know how new the game is. I think it's fairly new.
Yeah.
I think it maybe came out last year or 2 years ago. But I do hope we see an expansion one day.
Yeah.
Because the way I kind of look at the cards right now, they were kind of like almost like a prototype where like they had the idea and they put it all into paper.
It definitely sounds like something that should have been tested a little bit more, or like at the very least just needs a revision.
Yeah.
So hopefully they make an expansion which kind of cleans up a lot of the nastier bits and makes it a good experience. Because again, the basic mechanics were very unique and very cool, and I can't complain about that. But
yeah, and one reason I also like kind of the mechanics of the game is that like it makes you feel like you're doing something. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of card games, it's like, oh, I just kind of do these things. With this, it's like you're rolling the dice. You have to look at the numbers, and you really have to like think about, oh, do I want to turn this 1 into a 6 and get another stone, or do I need to turn it into another number and do something different with it?
And there's almost always something you can do. It's not like it's not like Magic gets sometimes where you're just kind of whacking off, like waiting for your opponent to do something because you're playing blue like I do. I'm actually more of a black player myself, but
I'm more of like I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah.
But my modern deck is RG-Tron.
So you're just actually the scum of the earth, is what you're telling me.
RG-Tron's great.
Although right now the scum of the earth is Hogak. No, Hogak's been banned. Like a few months after they released the card, they like banned it because it was just so oppressive.
Well, they did that with what's it called? Black Blue Eldrazi, right?
What?
Back in the day. Or not back in the day, but
well, that was you talking about like Jace?
No. It was crap. It's the reason they had to ban Eldrazi Temple. Was
fucking
like
mine? Thought not see your reality.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just fucking. That whole set was a kind of a mess. We're talking about Magic now. So there was. I keep wanting to say Battle for Azeroth. Battle for Zendikar. No, I'm starting to think Battle for is just a cursed name, because both Battle for Azeroth and Battle for Zendikar sucked ass.
I liked Battle for Azeroth. I understand your complaints, but I like it.
As a casual player, I didn't like Battle for Azeroth. And I know it also pissed off like I don't want to say competitive, but like hardcore players.
Yeah, I know a lot of the hardcore players.
So it just didn't do well at all. But now there's WoW Classic, so I guess you can play that. Although right now I'm playing RuneScape and Star Sector, so I have no time for your shit.
You and I can play WoW Classic together. It's real fun.
I just told you I'm playing RuneScape and
Yeah,
Star Sector.
and I'm telling you, we can play WoW Classic.
And I'm telling you I won't.
Fight
But
me.
back to what I was saying about Battle for Zendikar.
Yes.
So there was this plane called Zendikar, like way, way back, and it was one of the most popular sets of all time.
It's the set I've been playing for years, but Zendikar is the set that really got me into it.
Yeah, it was fucking rad. They had these like special full art lands in every pack, and it was cool. In the last block of that, or in the last set of that block, because that was back when like there were like blocks of 3 sets, and then they changed to blocks of 2 later on, and now it's just whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah, I'm confused by what they're doing now.
There's no more rules with Magic.
I can live with that.
Yeah. But the last set was Rise of the Eldrazi, where these like ancient, I hate using the word Lovecraftian, but Lovecraftian monsters.
They're pretty Lovecraftian.
Just like popped out of fucking nowhere and started fucking the plane up.
They're beings that exist in the space between planes.
Yeah, and they exist to like consume and destroy and fuck everything up. Then a few years of other sets happens, and they release Battle for Zendikar, which was kind of universally hated, except for the fact that there were these like super, super rare cards. There was like 1 in every case, which is like 6 booster boxes, which is 36 packs each. So very, very rare. I actually got one, not to toot my own horn.
Wow, you have the biggest dick.
Yeah, I sold it for Warhammer.
That's not a bad plan, though.
Yeah.
Like,
but there were these like very expensive lands, and they printed these super shiny, very rare collectible versions of them. And that's like the only reason that set did remotely well, because the set around it was really bad. And then they released Oath of the Gatewatch, which was the successor to that, which was also, for the most part, not great, except for the fact that they released a lot of colorless Eldrazi cards with ludicrously powerful abilities for their mana cost. And here's the thing, is they thought that, like, making those cards only able to be cast with colorless mana, like, they thought that that was, like, a restriction, but it really wasn't, because the decks that could generate a ton of colorless mana wanted to cast those Eldrazi. So, like, you had shit like people playing Eldrazi Temple and turn 2 playing Thought-Knot Seer, which was this bullshit. It was like a 4/4 that you steal a card from your opponent's hand, and if they manage to kill it, they draw a card. However, it's very, very hard to fucking kill because it's a goddamn 4/4, and most removal in Modern can't deal with that.
It's just usually 3 damage.
Yeah, and then turn 3, they play a 5 mana card called Reality Smasher, which is somehow even more broken. It's a 5/5 trample haste, and if your opponent wants to target it, they have to discard a card. I don't know why the fuck they thought that was a smart thing to print, but they did, and it was really fucking nasty for a while, and it's still very annoying sometimes.
I mean, my favorite card out of all of that, I just had to look it up to remember the name, was Void Winnower.
Well, Void, that's fine, because that's like an expensive card. And it has a goofy, fun effect. Yeah, that's completely okay. If you want to make a very high-cost Eldrazi, but 5 mana, especially in Eldrazi decks, because they printed lands with the express purpose of playing Eldrazi.
I mean, I played an Eldrazi way back in the day, like when Battle for...
Oh, you mean when I was a casual player who was just learning the game, and I had my intro decks, and you played Emrakul at me? Because I remember that. That was really cool of you.
I don't feel bad. Does that make me a bad person?
Yes. You're a fucking monster.
But I had an Eldrazi deck, and I could get Emrakul down, like, if I played my cards right, I could get Emrakul down turn, like, 5 or 6.
Yeah, and that's kind of an... Emrakul's a different story, because it's literally a win condition. Like, once Emrakul hits the field, you lose. Unless you're playing Emrakul, then you win.
Or you have O-Ring.
Yeah. And, like, occasionally, I mean, there are ways to get around it, but you're probably not going to have those ways.
Yeah. It's the type of thing that if you're not expecting it, you're probably not going to be able to do much against it.
And there are a lot of ways to cheat it out, like Sneak Attack, Quicksilver Amulet, Possibility Storm. But those are kind of like the game plan in and of themselves. So the game then becomes like, stop it, because once you stop those means of production, they kind of don't have anything.
Yeah.
But these newer Eldrazi had crazy strong effects. They were big creatures, but you could play them very easily turn 2 or 3 because they also printed so many ways to like make these Eldrazi very easy to cast.
And like in standard, it was okay, right? Just because like it was limited.
I didn't play standard then because I just couldn't care.
If I remember correctly, in standard it was all right. Just because in standard you can only use the latest 2 sets.
More than that, it's like the latest 6.
Or sorry, latest 2 blocks, I should say.
Latest 2 years. Roughly.
Yeah. And so like you were a lot more limited, but in modern you can use almost all the cards except for like some of the ones in the beginning.
Yeah. And in Legacy there's just no rules.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
And then isn't there Vintage after Legacy?
Yeah, but no one plays Vintage unless they're psychotic, a professional player, or have millions of dollars.
What, you don't have 4 Black Lotuses ready to go?
You're actually only allowed 1 in Vintage.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought there were like literally no rules in Vintage.
No, you can. There's still some banned cards, and you can only play 1 copy each of the Power 9. Because then otherwise people would be playing essentially the same decks.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, that's already kind of how it is because like a good 9 slots. I mean, exactly. Actually 8 because no one really plays Time Twister.
Yeah.
But like 8 slots of your deck are going to be the Power 9 because they're just way too good to not play.
Yeah.
So
it's like might as well.
Yeah.
Like essentially first turn drop down 7 mana and it's just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. What are we looking at for time?
52 minutes.
52 minutes. We'll just end this here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So... we didn't talk much about what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's good enough.
It's like halfway Midnight Ramblers, halfway.
It's not going to be a Midnight Ramblers, but it's Midnight Ramblers in spirit. It's like 2 p.m. Whatever.
It's actually 3:15.
What the fuck ever? I don't care anymore.
Yeah, you do. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your eyes. Isn't that a song? That's a song.
Probably. All right. Well, this has been Bill.
This is Liam.
And Tabletop, fuck you.